Hello, welcome aboard. Nigel with you, Nigel's Model Invention. Here we are now back with this beautiful Ferrari 330p4 from DeAgostini, and this is part 16, pack 17. I know the numbers can be a bit confusing, but I like to keep it all in the title so you can follow along. So basically, yeah, in the last part, in 16, we got the engine all sort of bolted up together and the fuel lines on and everything and all the intake trumpets. So as you can see, it's looking very, very nice indeed. So now we're on pack 17, but if you look at the instructions, we're going to be using all the parts from pack 16, which is a bit strange. Anyway, here we have all the contact details. If you want to get one of these or you want to find out more about it, please use the link down below in the description. That lets DeAgostini know that you've actually come from my channel to see their lovely stuff, and it makes them want to send me more. Well, not send me more, but keep sending me the bits to make this beautiful model. So there we can see a picture. Is that a... Yep, that is a 330p4. There we go. So I'm sorry about the noise in the background. Dottie's got a little box down and she's chewing up. So there we go. Parks in the cockpit of a Ferrari Formula 1 car. Although he only took part in a small number of races in this category, he proved to be a fast driver. And there we can see absolutely beautiful little cars. And then we've got the Dino again. We had the Dino in the last magazine, didn't we? The Dino 246. 246 being a 2.4 six-cylinder. So the Ferrari engine number things always mean something. So the 308 is a 3-litre 8-cylinder. The 328 is a 3.2 8-cylinder. The 412 is a 4-litre V12. There we go. So there we are. So there's the beautiful Dino. And there you can see a lovely picture of the production line there. So we've got some Dinos down here. We've got a 365 GTB4. Not sure what that is behind it. I'm going to get this box off of Dottie. Hang on a second. Better. Sorry about the noise in the background. So here you can see the beautiful 246 engine, and as fitted to the Lancia Stratos. And there you can see there's a sectional view. So it's a 90-degree V6. And we can see here we've got the engine there with the gearbox sat on top of the gearbox. Very much like a Mini. We all know the A series in the old Mini, driving along there and then back through the gearbox. Beautiful. Absolutely lovely. Transverse. Oh, it's a 65-degree. I was actually looking at that and thinking that looks a bit... That does not look like the cross section of the 246 with V-angled cylinder bank, 65 degrees. Yeah, that doesn't look... That's not correct. The engine is more 65 degrees. That's more like 90. That's not correct. So I don't know where they've got that from. Yeah, that's not a correct. That's not even this engine, because it's got a sump, and this engine didn't have a sump. This engine was sat on top of its gearbox, so they've got that wrong, unless there's something in the wording here, but that's not correct. Right, so here in the parts list, we've got a connecting frame and braking system components. So we've got the parts for pack 17. So do we need the parts in this build? If not, I'm not going to bother opening it. That's all 16. That's all 16. 17. We are going to be using them. Okay, so we will get them out. All right, so we'll get this bag open. Let's see what joys it brings. So we've got a little blister pack there. So we can get that lid off and we can see that we've got the parts in here. We've got some screws, got some tubing, a union. There we go. Right, so let's get on with the build. So retrieve the shock absorber. Get the light on for you because we finished with the magazine. Got the engine over here as well. So we've got from pack 16, we've got this blister pack here which is untouched. So, retrieve the shock absorber support, 16B. So, let's grab the tweezers. Where are the tweezers? 16B, there's the shock absorber support there. Shock absorber rod 16C, which is there. And rear suspension upper arm 16D. which is there, and an AM screw. So we've got a load of screws here. I haven't got any screwdrivers out because I'm terrible at getting myself prepared, but we'll get an AM screw out of here. There we go. So we've got an AM screw. There's one falling out of the bag there. I'm just going to pop that back in so we don't get confused with what it is. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put this together. So we've got this piece here, which is 16B, round like that. We've got this shock absorber arm like that, which is going to go through there. Sorry, the suspension arm. We've got the shock absorber body there. That's going to go in there. That's going to go through, and that's going to hold it in place. And then we're going to put an AM screw in the end of here. Now notice I haven't cut any threads or anything. So we'll see how this goes together. Okay, so that's pulled up nice and tight. Now, we don't want it too tight, but also we don't want to leave it so it's really loose because it'll be floppy. So there we go. I've got it so it's got a tiny bit of friction there, so the suspension will still work, but it's not all flopping about. Right, so step 2, we're going to take the actual model of the space frame rear section here, which is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that little tiny pin on there. It's lovely. It's beautifully made. And then what we're going to do, take the left rear frame 16A and place it as shown on your work surface with the assembled shock absorber. Place the shock absorber support 16B in the upper center hole of the frame and fix in an AM screw in the same hole so that both parts are securely fastened together. So we're going to get another AM screw out. Okay, so there's our spare AM screw that can go back in the bag. Please go back in the bag. Can't even pick the bloody bag up now. Right, there we go. Right, so we'll get an AM screw on the screwdriver, pre-armed, pre-loaded. So this is going to go like that. There's a hole there. You can see there's a hole there, and we've got this here, which has got some alignment on it, some alignment tabs. So that's going to go into there. So we can hold that in place. Again, I haven't cut any threads. So we'll see how this goes in. So it does go in okay, without tapping any threads. And there you can see we've got our suspension arm there and our shock absorber. So this is the left side. Right, so that's gone in there. So they're telling us here, secure it in from behind with a screw, which is what we've done. Right, so now we're going to put that to one side. So we'll put that back in there. How did this go? Like that. Okay, we'll put that back in there for protection because that little pin looks a bit vulnerable. So now we've got to take the engine. So we've got to take the engine, take the left-hand engine mount, 16E, which is this piece here. Okay, and with a BM screw, so I've got the BM bag here, we'll get one of these out. And we'll get that loaded onto the screwdriver. And what we're going to do is fit this engine mount onto the engine. So, position 16 over the whole of the left engine block, orient it as shown in the photo, with the longer shaft facing the front of the engine. So there's the longer shaft there. And fix in place with the BM screws. We're going to take our engine here. We're going to take this mount. It's going to fit on there. Right, so this is what I was talking about, this tube getting broken off. Be very careful. Take it off so it doesn't get broken. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is cut a thread here because I don't want to be pushing down to drive that screw in. So I'm going to cut a thread here. So this is an M1.7 tap. The majority of screws in this build have been 1.7mm threads. Oh, the bloody pin vise is coming undone. It's only because the camera's on, that's why it's doing it. Right. So we've got some thread in there now. I'm going to go a bit more actually. pin vise keeps coming undone, which is a pain. I think it's wearing out, to be honest. It's a David Union. It's a lovely, lovely pin vise, but lately it's not been so good. Right, so put that into there like so, and we're going to fit this engine mount. It's very funny. It looks like it's sort of on an angle. There's no alignment for it. It's very strange. So we'll just drive that screw into there. You can see how much easier it is when you cut the threads. It's so much easier. I'll put it kind of how they've got it in the manual. Okay. So we need to hold that. It's quite awkward actually. We need to hold that and just put that screw in like that. Okay, so that's that bit done. So now, don't forget that pipe. Now we've got to take the vinyl hose. We've got to cut 2 segments of this, 55 and 110, from the rear brake hose. Okay, so we're going to grab our rule as we usually do. Pair of cutters. So we want a 55 and a 110. So put the cutters down. Pick up the rule. 55 is there. Cut that off, and then we've got 110, so we're going to have a little bit spare. I'm going to cut it off the wiggly end. So 110 is there. Right, get rid of those cutters. So cut 2 segments, 55 and 110. Attach the first to the right hand output of the T connector 17B and the second to the left hand output. So this is 17B. Okay, so I'm trying to see where these hoses go. Attach the first to the right hand output of the T connector 17B and the second to the left hand output. Push the center output of the T connector into the hole in the rear frame engine support. Push the center output of the T connector. What? Okay, sorry guys, my bad. T connector. It was in the box. I was thinking this is the T connector. This is what happens when you're talking to no one in a room on your own, and things get a bit strange. So we've got this here. So that's that connector, and that's got the lines on it. So we've got the short one on the left, on the right, sorry, and the long one on the left. As we're looking at it here, I'm not sure which is left and right in reality. And then that's going to go into that hole there. I'm going to push that in. Easier said than done. We're going to use our tweezers just to put a bit of, there we go, that's gone in now. It's got the long tube coming out of that side. Looks like it's going up there. We've got that tube coming out of there. Right. Place the cross member next to the left rear frame and fit these 2 elements together as shown, and fix them with 2 AM screws. So we've got AM screws here. So we get this bag open, we'll get 2 of these out. Okay, so we've got 2 of those out, and I'm going to cut the threads in here. So we are going to fit this together. So we've got, make sure that's tight. So 1 turn forward, half a turn back. Just like so, we'll cut all 4. Go. Right, so that's those done. Okay, so just tap that and get the metal cuttings out of the hole. So we'll take this chassis, space frame, round this way now, so the shock absorber's outwards, and then this is going to connect into here. So that tube needs to be through there. That's the way they've got it in here anyway. So that tube's gone through there, and then this is going to connect onto there and there, like so. You can see we've got raised lugs on here, and we've got recessed areas in there. Something's just broken. That pin is a separate piece. Okay, right, so be careful not to lose that pin. It looks like it's pressed in. So we've got a screw in the screwdriver. I'm going to hold that like that. Wind that screw into there, pull it down, and then get the next screw lined up. Get that suspension arm out of the way. Well, I think of it, guys, I'm sorry about my dirty fingers and fingernails and everything. I've been working on my Fiat 131. If you want to go and see that, there's a link to the channel in the description below. Go and see what you think of that one. That's working on a real car. Right, so that's gone together. Okay, so you can see there, and then this hose, you can see that pin that dropped out. That's designed to be pushed in. It's designed to be pressed in, so I'm just going to give it a little nudge. Yeah, that's designed to be pressed into there. It's like a little brake pipe connector. Okay, so we're going to take this hose and we're going to connect it to there. Seems a little excessive in length, doesn't it? I'm just trying to look closely here where they've got it. No, it's over the top. They've got it over the top like that. I don't know why it's so long. Okay, so that's connected onto there. And then coming over the page, take the rear frame cross member, and after position it as shown, insert two small pins onto the corresponding holes on the rear of the frame. Fix the two components with a BM screw. So I'm going to take, we've got another blister pack we can get rid of. I'm just going to cut some thread into there. If you don't have taps, you don't have to use them, but it does make life a lot easier. And as I always say, I'm not a fan of just driving screws into blind holes. Was it a BM screw? Yeah. I'm not a fan of just driving screws into blind holes because it causes a lot of torque. It can break things, often difficult to hold parts. So there we go. So we've got a little pin on there. This is going to face backwards like that. So we've got a little pin on here, as you can see there. That's going to go into that top hole there like that. And then, oopsie daisy, making this awkward, aren't I? That's going to go into there like that. So we're going to hold that together somehow and then get a screw in. This is easier said than done. As you can see, having that thread cut just makes life so much easier. And also, if you don't have that thread cut and the screw, you're gorging the screw in, you could well snap that pin off. So you have been warned. Okay, so that's that in there like that. It's a lovely, lovely space frame. It's coming together beautifully. Okay, retrieve the gearbox and engine assembly. Place the rear frame 16A on the left side of the assembly. Make sure it is in position shown. Secure the two elements with 3am screws at the points indicated B, C and D. Okay, so we're going to get 3am screws. So we've got 4 in there, so there's going to be 1 spare. There's 2. There's, oh come on. Oh, come out. blimey. Right, so I'm going to arm the screwdriver. We got our spare screws there. So we're going to fix this onto the left hand side of the engine. I'm just looking here where the screws are going to go. So we've got this engine mount piece. So we've got one screw going into there. So I'm going to actually cut a thread here, or at least start a thread, so it's got something to start on. This is getting awkward. Okay, and then we've got another one going in there, I believe. We've got one going up into there. And I believe, looking at it, we've got one going into there. Yes, we have. Okay. So, just give the engine a tap, let your swarf out. So, we are going to put this together. Now, as you can see, that screw there has come loose, but we'll tighten that up in a minute. So, this is going to go onto here like this. So we have just looking there, we've got something in that hole. Is that? Okay, so that's the back end. I'm just looking at this engine mount. I wonder if they've told us to put it in the right way, because I'm looking here and you can see this mount is sticking through. Longer shaft, okay. So those shafts don't look to be long and short at all. I'm thinking it's that way round. Let me just have a double take and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so when it comes to fitting this engine mount, in the instructions they tell you to have the longer shaft facing the front. Well, if you look at that, it looks like they're both equal length. But what you need is, when you look at the engine mount, you can see this one has got like an extended lug and this one's just flat. The extended lug needs to face rearwards. Okay, so I'm going to take that screw off of there. I'm going to hold that on an angle. I need to hold this while I tighten this screw. I'm just going to tighten that screw down, and I'm going to get the screwdriver armed again. Get the tweezers out of the way. We're going to put this onto our engine here, and you can see that that longer lug there is going to go into that hole, and that helps us get everything aligned. Okay, so that's going to go up to there, that's going to go up to there, right. So we're going to get a screw into there, which I've cut a thread, so it's going to go in nice and easy. Alright, and then another screw is going to go into there. Dear, dear, dear. Sometimes magnetic screwdrivers are a pain and sometimes they're a godsend. Okay, so now that doesn't want to line up, so we're going to hold that in position to line it up. I'll tell you what guys, this is a fantastic build. I'm really enjoying this. It really is. It's great because of the amount of work involved. It makes it so much better than some other part works, it really does. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just be careful we put our hands, because we've got flimsy bits everywhere. And then we're going to put that screw up into there, and that will secure the bottom of the gearbox in place. There we are. So there we go, we've started to build up our space frame, and you can see this is looking really, really nice. Really nice indeed. Very sort of to scale and everything. So there we go. So that is pack 17 complete. We've got lots of screws left over, as you can guess. Yeah, there's that bag of screws there which we haven't touched. So I'm going to put those to one side. These here are spares, so they can go back in. They're spares. We've got this hose here which I'm going to stick on top of the engine there. And I'll be back for part 17, pack 18. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing in pack 18. Let's have a look. Is there lots to do? Oh, beautiful, look at that. So we're actually in pack 18, we're going to be working on the actual parts that are in pack 18, which is a first. So there we go. Right, I will see you then. We'll probably do 18 and 19 together actually, because it looks like, oh, we've got 20 as well to do. Blimey. It looks like it's another beautiful Daytona. Yeah, I think we'll do 18 and 19 together. So I will see you back for part 17. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.